Hi, this is Anna Imagination, and welcome to the Ethical Asshole. I am your host, the Salty Bitch. This podcast is not a conspiracy. So we are going to talk about your visions and your channeling. That is exoteric talk for scientific method and intuitive logic. Surprise! You can Google this. Google logical intuition. I use 18 to 20 steps in my scientific method. Exoteric scientists use 5. And when you are looking at stage 1 and 2 of scientific method, it is an intuition process where we take our intuition and we break it down. Now, you have a projector inside of your brain. It's called psychological physics. Psychological physics. So when you have psychological physics, you have optic physics, and that is literally a projector in your brain. Now, your projector in your brain is literally gauged. It has a gauge, okay? And the gauge of your projector, give me a minute because I'm translating all this from science talk in physics over into common language. So there's going to be like a communication barrier here. So you have a projector, literally it's the projector in your subconscious mind, and you have a gauge. Your gauge is your intuition. And your intuition runs off of logic, intuitive logic, and mathematics. And it constantly reads the truth of the universe, the universal truth, okay, which is logic, math, and physics. So it's literally an equation of matching, like remember the scales with law? That's what it is. That's exactly what those scales mean. It's measuring against the equilibrium of Mother Nature. So if Mother Nature says the answer is 4, and you're over here going 2 plus 2, you can bet your ass it's going to be 4 because Mother Nature says so. So, but unless it's calculus, then it doesn't. So when you have the projector in your brain with the gauge, and then you have your intuition and your logic, that is reading the logic and the math. Now, if you don't have any discipline and control over this, it's going to kind of go haywire and do its own thing. Now, we're going to add in here something called the metaphysical transformation. The metaphysical transformation, aka schizophrenia, immediately takes your projector and your intuition and it bounces everything off the charts because you have no intuition discipline. You have no psychological discipline. So as a result, your intuition is now like reading stuff and it's bouncing everything off the charts. It's the sensors are turned all the way up, like it's at the highest setting. That's what the metaphysical transformation does. It sets it to the highest setting. So now you're getting massive amounts of readings, massive amounts of information, and it's calculating all of this stuff based off of the universal world clock. And because you have a heightened sense of trauma or a heightened sense of intuition due to the amount of trauma that you probably suffered, which is why you're going through the metaphysical transformation. As a result, your intuition is now like turned all the way up to maximum capacity, and your metaphysical transformation is now sending this off the charts, which is why you're getting these massive amounts of readings. So now you've got a lot of people freaking out going, oh my God, I'm having visions and downloads. Yeah, you need mental help, as in you need to work on your healing journey. Your healing journey teaches you how to dial down the volume so that you have control, self-control over your dial. This is what the 12 ethics do, which is part of the esoteric sciences. This is why it's part of the esoteric sciences, is because we knew that we were walking into this. So we knew to add it to the whole, yeah, maybe they should learn like how to control this because of the metaphysical transformation. So the metaphysical transformation hits at the 6th ethical perspective and goes to about at the 10th ethic. At the 10th ethic, it stops because that's when you get emotional fluidity. And then you learn how to stop resisting all of your emotions. And when that happens, the metaphysical transformation slows down and your intuition stops picking up all of the readings from the universe, which is just it reading the world clock without you knowing this, and it's bouncing everything off. So we're going to translate all of that into science and common language. When you are getting a reading, what you are really doing is undisciplined universal clock reading. You're divining. but it's not divining. That's exoteric stuff. Esoterics already know about all this going on. So we are ahead of the game and we know about this going into it. So we know to curtail it before it gets to that point. This is what happens when people aren't getting the education they need prior to the metaphysical transformation. So you basically have until the sixth ethical perspective to figure this out, or you end up suffering from an uncontrollable amount of universal clock readings. So in my last video, or one of my last two videos, I talked about the universal clock. The universal world clock is the Mayan calendar that shows the entirety of all of time on a 2,000-year mathematical pattern rotation that the Akashic records then took and translated it down into this is what's going to happen when and where. And then from there, we're going to set that over there, you have the astronomical clock. This is in Prague, and you can see it. No one knows how to read it. Anyway, basically, it's your ability to see everything that's always happened and always will. Now, this information is based off of a mathematical pattern, which is also based off of a logical trajection. This is the same stuff that purchasing managers use in business. Very anticlimactic and boring. So when you study economics, you study how to use math to make trajections of inventory based off of purchasing and buyers' decisions to know, based off of trends, who's going to buy how much, when, and where, based off of the mathematical numbers, data analysis from the previous years. This is divination. Yeah, I'm taking the magic out of your magic. This is divination. If you're really good at it, you're going to have accurate readings. If you're bad at it, you're going to have optimistic readings. And if you're bad at it, you're going to have pessimistic readings. The pessimistic and optimistic readings are going to be dependent upon your accuracy, which is your experience, and also whether or not you are suffering from scarcity mindset. If you have scarcity mindset, you're going to end up with pessimism. If you don't have scarcity mindset, you have abundance mindset, you're going to have optimism. But if you're inexperienced, you're going to have inaccuracy. So it's going to fall either to optimism or pessimism. Now you've got a mathematical projection that a lot of people are going, oh my God, you've divined. Have I really predicted? Or am I just reading a mathematical chart? So this is all set up inside of you. This is part of psychological physics, which is part of the esoteric sciences, which is part of Jediology. So the more you study this stuff, the more you study math, the more you study psychology, I have to clarify Pythagorean psychology or psychological physics, the more you understand how these mathematical trajections are completely being read by your intuition. Now, your intuition reads two things. Your intuition reads Mother Nature's equilibrium, which is the mother lode, the be-all, end-all of truth. And it also reads your cell health. Now we have a problem. Your intuition is going to be reading your cell health. So if you are not healthy, it's going to be giving you readings about your cellular health and how well you are or are not doing, which means if you are sick physically or mentally, you're going to get those readings combined with your scarcity levels because you might have a mental illness that's dealing with scarcity, in addition to your ability to read the truth, which is Mother Nature's equilibrium. So people are thinking, oh, well, that's Mother Nature's truth, therefore it must be true. But it also reads your cellular health. And if you can't tell the difference between Mother Nature's truth and your cellular health, and you also have scarcity mindset, you're going to get an inaccurate reading. Now you have a problem. In addition to that, you haven't studied the mental disciplines or mental diversification that allows you to control what your projections do inside of your mind. So now your barometer, your intuition, is bouncing all over the place. And because it's bouncing all over the place, reading the inaccurate information, you still have to translate that. Translation is a whole nother creature. So now you have contamination from your cell health not being great. You have mental illness and you have scarcity mindset. Mother Nature's math is fine. Trust me, her math is fine. In addition to that, you have an undisciplined projection because you're probably in the metaphysical transformation. Now, in addition to that, a narcissist may have supplanted your origin point. We talked about this in a previous video. So now, because you have lost your point of origin, you've lost all of your common denominators, and now you don't know who you are, which means You have a projector that's flipping all over the place because you're not grounded in your origin point with your common denominators of knowing who you are. Which means now you really have no idea what you're reading because now your barometer is all over the place, which means your metaphysical transformation projector is going to go way off the charts while your intuition is bouncing all over the place, reading your cell health and confusing your cell health with Mother Nature's equilibrium, which means you're going to be pointing the wrong way, going that way, away from Mother Nature. But we're not done yet. Now, we got to translate all this. So I am sure your mother and father allowed you to open your voice and speak openly and freely your whole life. So by the time you were 8, you were probably very fluent in your English language or whatever native language you speak. No problems talking, right? Probably not. Most likely you never were allowed to speak, which meant you never learned how to articulate yourself, which means you probably weren't able to define the emotions you're feeling, which means you probably don't know what you are feeling. And you struggle with words, especially if you're an introvert and you have social problems. Now you have to translate all of this highly complex jargon into something that you understand. Now, there's 2 ways to translate. There is you understanding. That's one skill. And then there's you transmitting. How are you with that? Because you have to be able to receive the data from Mother Nature and translate it for the self to understand. That's reception. And then you have to be able to translate it for yourself from Mother Nature and then transmit it properly to other people. This is why I speak so good, is because I know how to translate from reception and then translate here and then pass it on over to other people. A lot of people don't know this. This is the esoteric sciences. This is what it teaches you. All the different ways of communication. So now if you have communication skills and you have a lack of discipline because your origin is missing and you don't know all the ways your intuition is reading all of the different 3 signs because it's reading your cells, it's reading your whether or not it's optimistic or pessimistic, and it's also reading your ability to understand Mother Nature, you still have to translate all of that into how you receive it and then into how you translate it. This is a lot. Welcome to the esoteric sciences. So this is the shit we do here, is we translate all of this, we define it, we discipline it, we practice the skills, we teach the skills of all of these different things so that you have your metaphysical transformation grounded with your proper point of origin, which should be your heritage. Your heritage is your origin point. I'm Irish and Scottish, so that's mine. I'm really well acquainted with my origin. I like to just say I'm Celtic. I got this down. So when you understand where your origin point is, that's going to do a lot for you. So first, focus on your heritage. Don't focus on your parenting. That's all fucked up. We all know that. So focus on your heritage. Go back to the contributing common denominators of your heritage. And that will stabilize your origin point. And then you're going to want to work through all of your past trauma and your shadow work. The Healing Gardens Triadic Healing Part 1 does all of this for you. In addition to that, after that, you are also going to want to familiarize yourself with the 12 ethics. That's going to take care of the metaphysical transformation. Because once you understand that the metaphysical transformation is activated at the 6th ethic, 7th, 8th, 9th, there it is. It's the doorway to the abstract. Welcome to my world. Once you get this beautiful thing done, well, you'll see. So that's the metaphysical transformation. That will ground you. Then you're going to want to learn for projection disciplines. You're going to want to learn the mental discipline of your perspective scope. Your perspective scope is your cognitive core, and that allows you all the different points of views, all of them, so that you understand where you are with your story hopping, because you probably are suffering from something called identity displacement. Identity displacement is when you live in someone else's story because you don't have your own, because the narcissist took away your origin. So then without your origin, you needed to go find another story, most likely the narcissists, but you probably broke up with them, thank God. But now you don't have a story because they took it away. So now you have to build your story. Story health is a huge part of all of this. So you need your story health, you need your origin point, which is part of your story health. And in addition to that, you need to take care of yourself physically and mentally. And you have to achieve that balance. The 12 ethics will do that for you. When you triangulate your position over the 12 ethics, it will restore your cellular health as well as nourish yourself with a proper diet. And that will allow your cellular health to boost up and stabilize and match with Mother Nature. When that happens, you will also have a sufficient amount of abundance, and then you'll just have to practice reading and doing proper trajections with Mother Nature. When you do that, that will allow you to align properly so you'll get accurate readings, and then you'll be able to channel and do your visions properly and accurately. But you still have to learn how to communicate. So that's where you would have to go into linguistics, philology, logic, language, etymology, and then you would have to practice theater, stage, logic, linguistics, philology, public speaking, poetry, music, theater, stage, and I'm going to say theater and stage just one more time. Public speaking, you're going to have to practice talking, get a podcast. After that, you are going to want to just put in the hours. You need about 96,000 talking hours to get your speaking up. That way you can learn how to communicate and articulate. And when you do that, you will learn how to receive, translate, and then transmit. Now, that is when you would be able to do your visions and your trajections properly. Anything less than that, contamination, improper translations, misreadings, misinformation, gaps, significant amount of gaps. And because you have those gaps, you're going to have more mistranslations, struggle seeing the big picture, inability to ground yourself. You're going to be carried away emotionally every time you have a vision or a download. You'll have no control or a mental discipline over your visions. They're still going to hit randomly. That is something I'm used to it, but you'll learn to have a cleared schedule because you never know when they're going to hit. Because when Mother Nature steps in and says, it's time, okay. Prophet is the exoteric translation of scientific method. It wasn't prophesizing. It was reverse engineering your intuition to translate Mother Nature into reading the academic disciplines. Now, I use mine to reverse engineer new academic disciplines, which is the esoteric sciences. Or you might be doing this most likely just to read the universal clock. So once everyone knows how to read the universal clock, divination is going to be really boring for everybody. And we're all going to be going, yeah, we know it's going to happen. Didn't you read the universal clock? Duh. I'm waiting for that time period to happen. That's in the universal clock. It's coming. You can't surprise. So this is probably why that just explains everything. This is why I love adventure so much, because everything's predictable. So I have this whole, to balance out the unpredictable, I need adventure and spontaneity and surprise, because damn. Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, I really fucking hate the universal clock. But once you learn how to read the universal clock, you kind of yeah. It was so funny because when all of this started, one of the things I saw was everybody entering into the metaphysical transformation without any kind of discipline. And I went, oh my God, I got to get my information out there to everybody. And I did. But Mother Nature said, yeah, they're not supposed to get it yet. They're supposed to go through the chaos. Really? Really? Trust me. I'm trusting you, but really? So now everyone's chaotic and everyone's in metaphysical transformation and everyone's going, help me. And I'm like, yeah, I saw this coming. The good news is so far, well, no, everyone's pretty much being diagnosed with schizophrenia right about now. And I'm just going, yeah, it's metaphysical transformation. Because you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th ethic. But most of you are probably just in the 6th ethic. You haven't even gotten to the 7th ethic, because when you get into the 7th ethic, it gets real quiet. So I'm waiting for everyone to just suddenly stop going to social media and it's just silence. And I'm like, yeah, everyone just hit the 7th ethic. And then everyone's going to get real talkative, and then YouTube is going to explode. And everyone's going to be on YouTube talking nonstop. 8th ethic just arrived. And then everyone's going to get real nice. I can't wait. That's the 9th ethic. Healthy, nice. Not just nice. Not toxic, nice. Healthy, nice. That's coming. That's the 9th ethic. When that happens, then emotional fluidity occurs, and that's when the world is going to heal. That's the first wave of the healing. Welcome to the esoteric sciences. It's a blast. Yeah. I'm starting to enjoy this. I'm really starting to enjoy this. I found a way to finally enjoy this. Yeah. So I think that's everything I have to say about that. Make sure you Google logical intuition and intuitive cognition. That's going to help you a lot with this. This is part of my Simple Science for Practical Use. And it trains. Yes, that was simple. It's simple. Trust me, it's simple. It really is. And I've got the whole walkthrough if you want all of it. This is located on my free courses available on my website, so you can just go through this. Everything has to be DIY healing. That's mandatory. DIY healing is the only way to preserve your power of choice and your self-authority. This is mandatory. Anytime you have a teacher who is literally sitting there walking you through something, especially in the early stages, is enabling. If you know how to read, if you know how to use logic, well, if you know how to read, then you need to be on your own. A teacher should only be teaching you how to read and how to learn. You can learn how to learn on my website. That's one of my free courses. So thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.